Welcome back. Welcome back. We're back in the lab again. And I want to share with you, I'm here, Mark Williams, and come
D
on, D, what's
Stalwart,
happening?
Work Enhancement Lab. Come on.
It's good to be here. Good to be here. And today, again, we're just on the topic of work, on the topic of enhancing yourself, getting to that next level, doing some stuff you've never done before, doing things that you thought you were incapable of doing after you recognize the worth and value that is intrinsically put in you.
Powerful.
Yeah, I mean, come on,
Powerful.
come on. This is life changing stuff, and so today we're going to talk about how occasionally we see women who have allowed the perception of other people affect their personal value. What do you think?
You know what? As soon as you said that, it took me back to childhood and how some people are put, like, some people get told good things
Come
and,
on.
and good things are invested in them
Come
and
on.
spoken over them. But then on the other hand, there's these other ones where people's, you've been called names
Right.
as a kid. You're ugly.
Uh-huh.
You're a B word. You little B. They give you these nicknames that should not be given to children.
No.
So then their perception of you, it can grow in you.
Right, because I remember a particular actress who said her whole life she was called stupid,
Oh my.
and she said she would make jokes,
Yes.
and they called her stupid,
Yes.
and people at school, you're stupid,
Yes.
you're stupid, and little by little she started feeling stupid.
Come on.
So then when she would act out,
Yes.
nobody knew where it was coming from, but it was coming from that external perception
Yes.
that was basically pushed on her.
Right. Right.
And it's sad because some of those situations are normally in school.
Yes.
You little fatty.
Yes.
Or we've even had situations where people were called skinny, and it ended up really affecting their mentality.
And I'm gonna go even further. This is pretty deep. Being called or being said you're gay.
Oh wow.
And or you're too buff, or I've been told, oh, you're too strong.
Right. Okay.
And-
So now you have a problem because you're a strong-minded woman,
Strong-minded
or young lady,
and physically strong.
physically strong. Oh, so,
So
now
now
there's
I'm-
something wrong with you.
I'm always being equated to a man.
Okay, and that's sad.
Yes.
If that's not your choice, that's really jacked up.
Yes, it is.
So,
Yes, it
so
is.
because here you are just being you.
Yes. I'm
So
born
that-
with this.
Come on. And so, but hearing that, what does it make you feel like? So here you are, a young lady just trying to live out the life of a young lady, and somebody said, "Oh, you act too much like a boy,
Yes. So then I started
acting like."
to act like a boy. Fought
Right.
boys my
Right.
whole life. I can't think of one girl fight I've ever had.
Oh, only boys?
Only boys. You touch me.
Because now you got something to prove.
Yes.
Well-
and losing out on the gentle nature of a woman.
Come on, that you just wanted to project anyway.
Definitely.
Wow. So perceptions of others can really affect not just your childhood, but end up affecting you even as an adult.
Yeah.
Because some of those stereotypes, some of those names, you don't lose.
No, you take them with you. They grow on you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're engraved in your brain. And
Right.
so now, anytime something happens, you feel that coming back.
Yes.
Stupid,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
It's like, wait, whoa. That's not where and go ahead.
No, I think we talked about it before. The B word.
Oh, come on.
Being called that and
Right.
thinking that that's a valuable word
No.
when it's far from.
It's degrading.
Yeah, it's far from.
And it's very degrading. And here's the issue. Because sometimes even while someone allows that in public,
Right.
what's it make them feel like in private?
Well, tears you down.
Come on. I heard years ago, just concerning even the N word. Someone asked Maya Angelou, "Is it okay to say it?"
Okay.
And because at that point, it wasn't a culture of people saying that to Black America. It was us saying it to ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, let's
And
dive
so
into that.
now rappers are saying it, just like with the women, and the B word
Yes.
became very popular
Yes.
in the '80s for some reason.
Yes.
So that's my B. Oh, you're my B. Come on,
You're my
all that.
number one.
Yeah, it's like boss. All right, so with all of that, she said this. She said, if you take poison
Yes.
that's in a bottle that's marked with the poison sign. Years ago, you used to have the skull with the
Yes.
crossbones on it. So that's poison. You know, if you see this sign, don't consume this.
Right.
Don't drink it because it's poison. She said if you take that poison out of that container and put it in a container that's not marked poison, that just, you know, it's just plainly wrapped, there's no poison, does it make it any less poison?
Oh, that was good. That's
So
good.
with the N word, no, it doesn't. So it's not okay for us to use that, but then it's not okay for women to throw around the B word.
What perception are we allowing to be put on us
Right.
by being called or using that,
Right.
and now putting it in our verbiage,
Right.
or even calling our children it?
I mean, come on. Because it to me, even watching certain interviews on YouTube or watching certain interviews of different podcasts or whatever, when this is done, or there's a man having a conversation with a woman,
Yes.
and now he's hated,
Yes.
and he uses that word,
Yes, it's the first word that comes out.
but why is it okay?
It's a defense mechanism. It's designed to tear you down.
But why is it okay? So again, my question would be, why would someone sit across from a person
Right.
outside of an interview and be
Right.
okay with that being said?
Right. It's a reflection of some type of insecurities and lack of love.
Years ago, there was a psychologist that said when you're sitting across from somebody and they start using that kind of terminology with you,
Right.
they don't value you.
Definitely.
And if they were, it was said that if you hear someone say the C word,
Yes.
in response to you run for your life.
Yes.
Because now they don't care.
Right.
You're not a person anymore.
Yes. You're not worth. Your worth is very low to them.
Anyway.
Definitely.
But think about it. So if someone's able to use those terms on a woman for years,
Yes.
what does it do to that person's value?
She becomes
Uh-oh.
what's been said to her.
Yeah, or at least degraded to that value.
Right.
To that point. Yeah.
Right.
So one good reason person's perception of you that you should avoid letting people's perception of you define you is because sometimes their perception of you comes from a very unhealthy,
Yes.
insecure place
Yes.
in their lives.
Definitely.
So because they're insecure, they'll call you something less than you are.
Definitely. Very much unlearned and unloved.
Right. And then if you allow that to create your perception of you, what does that make you act like?
What you're called.
And let's take it further, because sometimes we try to nail this to just the men in their lives, your first boyfriend, your
Right.
first, fling, or whatever the case
Right.
may be. But
Right.
think about when your mom was calling you ugly. I'm not
Right.
talking about your mom, but
No,
I'm saying
no,
just in
no.
general.
I've heard moms.
Women who call their children ugly.
And the B word. I've heard moms and I've heard this. I didn't have a mom.
Okay.
I wasn't taught that. I don't know. I didn't know how to do that. So there's a very unhealthy place and a very much lack of knowledge, because what you didn't get, now you're passing it on to your children.
Right. So there's this deficit
Yes.
of love.
Yes.
And what love feels like.
Yes.
And what being cared for feels like.
Right.
And so now we're just projecting
Yes.
and just perpetuating, if you would, this cycle of just unhealthy behavior.
Right.
So wow.
Definitely.
So no matter what, people will hear things that could potentially affect their perception or personal value. So so at some point, what do you have to decide as a woman? So you've heard negative stuff, you've
Yes.
heard, different ones because you didn't do what they wanted you to do.
Yes.
You became the whatever. Now you've heard their negative perceptions. What do you do about it? How do we fix that? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, definitely. It's definitely a fight, and you have to unlearn the wrong things that you were taught, and we can't change other people's perception of us.
Right.
But we can change how we are affected by their perception.
Okay. So we get to the point to where we do what?
that's not or we're talking relational wise, that's not a healthy relationship to be in. If his insecurities are starting to change you into him.
Okay, or at least to what his thoughts think you should be.
Yes.
And so, because there are times that I believe that people who have a lot of assurity, when they get into a relationship with people who aren't sure of themselves, they need to bring you down a few pegs.
Yes.
So some of those words, some of those values that they're trying to impose on you come from their own personal insecurities.
Definitely.
And that could be the mom too.
It could be the mom or the sister. Or
sister, cousin.
Yeah, it could be. Yes.
That best, quote unquote, best friend.
Right.
Don't get me on Shanquella Robinson over again. These aren't your friends.
Right.
And so.
Anyone who tears you down and feels good about it.
Right.
Can't value you.
Right. And then, so my question becomes this then. Again, so how do we encourage our sisters that hear these things to just keep moving? Shouldn't we just be okay with, okay, that's your opinion of me, but I'm not going to let that affect me.
You take it that is my thing. Okay, what you say to me, I'm not going to let that penetrate me.
Right.
That's like you said. I don't receive it.
Right. You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm not going to let that.
I don't receive
and that's key.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Work Enhancement Lab.
Hey, so glad you're back. Pay attention to the pause for the cause. Amen. Want you to just support. Just check it out, all right?
Definitely.
All right. So we're picking up right back up where we left off, and that is not allowing other people's perceptions of you to really affect who you are.
Definitely.
So it almost gets to the point where no matter what you hear, because you will hear stuff.
Yes.
Again, like we were saying just before the break, and that is, you just have to let that be their opinion.
Yes.
Without it affecting you.
Yeah, I was reading something. Take the weight off their opinion. How do we do that?
Take the weight off of their opinion, recognizes their opinion.
Yes.
And then recognize where it comes from.
Oh, good.
Because when you start looking at the person, it could be their unhealthy childhood.
Definitely. Stems from somewhere.
And it's projected on you.
Definitely.
Or it could be the relationships that they saw in play.
Right.
That were unhealthy relationships. Because a lot of times when you are in an unhealthy relationship, generally it's statistic that if a young man sees abuse his whole life, he's going to grow up and be an abuser.
Yes.
So if he doesn't know how to handle a woman, it almost goes back to when we were talking about knowing the purpose of something. If he doesn't know what the purpose is of a woman, then he's going to handle the woman like he saw somebody else handle her. So that's how she becomes the bee.
Very true. I can vouch for that as far as my perception of a relationship was to just longevity.
Oh.
And
so
it didn't matter.
It doesn't matter if it's healthy or not?
Oh, my.
We've been married for 30 years.
Oh,
doesn't matter if 28 of them were help.
You are hitting it. And that, I had to make up in my mind that that's not healthy.
No.
It's okay to get out.
Right. I mean, because there's no way, in abusive relationships are never good.
Right. Verbally or physically.
Right.
It's not healthy.
Right. And so it's either, it boils down to compromising to making that healthy.
Yes.
Or recognizing where it just needs to stop.
Yes. And getting away, getting out.
Right. Because, I mean, if you're in a relationship where you feel like you need to run away, it's scary.
Definitely.
It's scary. And then the other part is, what do we put on our young ladies or our young men? If they get to watch the same cycle,
right?
What are we producing?
Generational headaches,
to say the least. But so when we get to the point to where we recognize that we've been influenced or affected by, what are some things that some young women that are watching or listening right now might say, you know what, I need to make some moves. What do I do?
Well, it reminds me of myself. Have a plan. Always have a backup plan. And if you're in an unhealthy situation where you're being projected on as things you know you're not,
right?
We have to like I always say, get out. We have to start to tell ourselves that's not who I am.
Right.
What your perception of me is, if it doesn't make sense to me,
Right.
I don't have to accept that.
Right. But I think the biggest key might be is to understand when the value issue comes into play, and you recognize a person doesn't value you as a woman. If you're just a whore,
Yes.
if you're just the bee,
Yes.
if you're just, the person that, like, you get degraded in public.
Right.
What is that like?
Oh, it's
You know,
embarrassing.
we're in a world now where if you mishandle your dog, they'll put you in prison.
Yes.
But you can talk crazy to your wife in public. You can call your girl out her name.
Less than a dog.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yes.
get treated like less than an animal.
Yes.
But it's okay. And
Right.
everybody will look the other way.
Right.
But if you kick a dog, they're gonna run at you and tackle you. You know?
Wow.
So what is that, what value does that put on our women? We can show videos of people being abused.
Yes.
And nobody's making a big deal about it.
Right.
But kick a dog and they'll kick your door in and arrest you.
Definitely.
So
Prison time. Yeah, that's a whole topic within itself. But we have to make sure that others' perception of us, especially in a relationship,
Right.
it's healthy, it's encouraging, it's love, it's kindness, it's tender. When it becomes to be verbally, physically unhealthy, and you're getting what's inside of them.
Oh, come on. That's exactly what's in them.
Yeah, that's who they are.
Right.
So we have to definitely figure out, what is my perception? What am I sending out?
That makes you think that
That
it's
makes
okay
you-
to handle me.
Yes.
Because, again, if it comes down to a woman that values herself will push the brakes.
Definitely.
A woman that values herself would say, these are the parameters.
Yes.
These are the lines. I understand we're learning each other, but what you need to learn is this: don't talk to me like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I definitely do.
Handle me like you want me to handle.
Definitely.
You.
And-
How you want it. If you need respect, like,
Give it. Yeah. And then for us who are love seekers and want approval from everyone, we generally have to teach ourselves that if he can't speak to you healthy, if he can't love you healthy, then generally that's not a healthy place to be.
But the sad thing is that sometimes this, like, how people get married and they say, oh, he wasn't like that. Generally, that's a lie.
I've been told who he is before you marry is who he is.
You're just going to get more of what you had. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, honestly.
Yes.
Honestly, men aren't that good at hiding stuff.
Oh, no.
We just think we are.
No.
Hello? Because generally, even when a man cheats, 9 times out of 10, he's going to get caught because men get sloppy.
Yes.
So if he has a certain behavior
Right.
that is demeaning or degrading,
Yes.
you probably seen it before
Definitely.
you got serious.
Definitely.
Way before you got serious, you probably saw it. Because here's the thing. If he's sitting at a table and you're at your first date and he's talking negatively about the waitress and she walks away,
Right.
9 times out of 10, it's going to come back to you.
Oh, my.
All right, look at her, or look at this, or check this out. 9 times out of 10, if he calls her a B,
Yes.
eventually you'll be one.
Yes.
Oh, do you get what I'm saying?
No, you're hitting the hit. You're hitting it because even we look at, and that's why we have to do our research. Because even we're looking at how he speaks of his own mother
Right,
or lack thereof.
right. What does he post on social media? What is he
Right.
typing in when he
Right.
sees somebody?
Right.
What is he typing in there?
Right. And what does those old relationships look like?
Yeah, and you said how he handles his mother is a key. That's a red flag. If his mother's a B, you're gonna be one.
Yes, that's for
you're
sure.
gonna definitely.
Oh, that's
be
for
one.
sure. That's for sure. And that comes in. We can't change people's opinion,
No,
but we can change how we allow it to
thank you.
affect us.
And handle us.
Yes.
Yes, that is so key.
Yeah.
Because if I know that's who you are, I
Yes.
can let you be that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be that too.
No. And I'm not going to allow you. And me, I have children. I have daughters.
Right.
I thought God was very humorous giving me daughters. But so I have to I have to be careful of what you say to me in front of my daughters.
Because
I don't want them to think
that's okay to say.
that's okay to say.
That's important.
Yes.
And I think most people miss that.
Yes.
Most people miss it.
These kids are growing up seeing us being called these names, being treated this way, and then their perception is like, oh, that's right.
That's how we do. Yeah, and so what we're doing is we're letting them drink the poison.
Yeah, that's not Mark. My goodness.
And that's real. So, perception. Their perception of you. Maybe it may have been your mom's perception.
Right.
It might have been your aunt's perception, your
Right.
cousin who said you
Right.
weren't beautiful enough, or the one who called you ugly. Again, I've met so many grown women
Yes.
who are beautiful,
Yes.
but think that they're ugly because when they were 5, you're the ugly one.
Yes.
You were the one that was darker. Mm-hmm. Or in some situations, I just recently, when we did a workshop, young lady, she was the lightest one in the family, and they mocked her. And so she was like, I feel bad because I'm lighter than everybody else. I feel like there's something wrong with me.
Right. And so much ignorance in that. That whole perception of light versus dark. We are all
Come on.
beautiful.
Period.
Every single shade,
Come on.
ethnicity. We are all beautiful. There's no. We're made different, but our mechanisms are the same.
Right.
So we reflect each other.
Right.
We should.
We really should.
Yeah.
So the key is really just, maybe it comes back down to silencing those.
Oh yeah.
Silencing those voices, because those voices get heard over
Oh, that's
and over.
good.
Because once they're in your head, it's an echo.
We said it before. You don't have to receive it.
Right.
You can't stop what someone says about you, but
Right.
you don't have to receive it.
Don't have to receive it.
Yeah.
And by all means, silence it so that you can, and it's worth it. So if in fact someone gets to the point to where they need to, what was that? Somebody's getting fired. If in fact we get to the point to where those things have affected us so tough,
Yes.
now we're trying to make that turnaround. It really does, become necessary, like you were saying,
Yes.
to help yourself.
Yeah, it's a step-by-step basis.
But helping yourself might be involving someone. It might be
Definitely.
helping yourself enough to maybe have a talk with somebody.
Definitely. And surround yourself with healthy people.
Yeah, that's key.
And recognize unhealthy people quickly.
Right,
Because
right,
being around someone who's already toxic,
right. Doesn't help anything.
it doesn't. And I've been in a situation where I was I'm thinking if I become you, I can show you who you are, and somehow that'll change you. But it ended up just taking so much out of me.
Because it costs to be somebody that you're not.
It takes so much. It takes time from you. It takes your healthiness from you. Because you drink, I drink. Okay.
Right.
You act ugly, I act ugly. And it just became very unhealthy.
So it turns you into somebody that's really not you.
No. And it takes you to look. We walk past the mirror all the time, but it takes you to really look in there and soul search and say, that's not who I want to be.
Right. It's key. It's key.
Yeah.
Especially when you can lose yourself.
Yes.
And then if you lose yourself, you've lost value.
Oh my. You said that intrinsic.
Come on, God given. It's
God-
just
yeah.
it's birth.
Yes.
It's naturally birth.
And you're
Worth.
just covering it by allowing someone to portray their toxicness
Yeah.
and unhealthy verbiage or their perception on you
Right.
when you're the light.
Right. Come on. And
You're valuable. You're worth it.
valuable. Yeah. Yeah. So need to make some changes? Go ahead and make them because you're worth it.
Write it down. That's
You're
what
worth it.
that's what I started to do.
Come on, go.
I started to write in my journal, and Lord forbid you go look back at what you said about. He said those things to me. Oh no, he doesn't love me.
Come on. But you have to be sober.
Ye-
And
Oh.
I'm not just talking about in terms of drugs and alcohol. I'm talking about just sober minded.
Yeah.
You have to be in a sober
Unclouded.
place.
Yes.
Unclouded.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
it. An unclouded place.
Yes.
When all of the words are silenced and everything is just you and
Alone.
and those words
Yes.
and those feelings.
Yes.
You have to be sober to recognize.
Yeah,
no
that's not
way.
what I want.
Uh-uh.
It can't be. It's you're worth so much more.
Take a sober moment.
Definitely.
Take a sober moment. reflect those thoughts, reflect what's been put on you,
Yes.
and decide for yourself your worth, shooting for more, growing more, and not letting those things decrease your value. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time in the Worth Enhancement Lab.